Hello everyone. So before I start, I would like to actually show you something. Here is a tweet around November 2015, and it says that Zcash makes up to 13% of near Intel facilitated volume. Fast forward to today now, that number has actually dropped to 8%. And if I exclude only ZK here, you can see a peak in use case here around that same November and now a decline. And I can actually explain what's happening here. So this peak was mostly because of when Zcash was actually marketed to Solana users, and at the same time also showed them the opportunity where near intent was actually integrated in Zachi wallets. So at that time, a lot of them actually used it because that was the first time Zcash users were actually able to use their token in a scenario that it's not all about leaving it in their wallets. First time they were able to actually swap their token for some of them, obviously, but not just a swap, but a cross chain, a possibility of cross chain swaps. So, but now you can notice a decline here, and it is because there is no other use case where they can actually use it other than swap. But what if we can change that? Because there is a lot of DeFi use case that they can use their Zcash for lending, staking on different blockchains. Um, Now prediction market is a trend, even perpetual market. They can actually do all this thing. They can actually degen. What if we can actually make that possible? That's what I'm proposing. And here is a proof that users actually want this. Here is one of a take from one of the users in the Zcash forum, and this is around February of this year. He was asking if there is a way that their Zcash can actually be breached so that they can actually use their Zcash to trade on Hyperliquid. Fast forward to around September, I think so, of this year, Zcash was actually listed on Hyperliquid. Not there was no integration for them to actually use their Zcash to do this. They actually want this, but nobody is actually building it for them. So now, what if we can actually build this in privacy bridge? So this is what I'm trying to achieve here, and here we actually using near intent and also some other infrastructure in near ecosystem like chain signature, trusted environment, execution environment, MPC threshold signing, a lot of them, but I will explain the architecture here. So, but disclaimer, um, this is a prototype envisioned to actually like show you what I'm proposing. A huge part of it actually works, but I won't say that it is production ready for people to use real money to actually trade it. So with the proposal, it has to go through. If this proposal is actually approved and I get a grant, it has to go through multiple audits, refactoring, and validation right before it could be approved. But this is just what I have on my hands right now, just sharing with you so that you can actually get what I'm saying here. So I will try to make this video shorter, so I won't actually go into details, but I will try to explain much of the architecture. And yes, I won't be actually texting with real tokens on mainnet, although given that near intent only allows mainnet testing, I can't test it on testnet, but I'm actually too broke to actually use real money to do that right now. So I'll be running everything on a simulation using dry run, which is kind of a simulation mode on near intent for some of them, not everything, but I will explain the architecture. So starting with the lending. So this will enable Zcash users to actually lend. And how this works now is, pardon this thing, this is running on a custom bridge. This is the main one that will make it to the production. So what happens here is that Zcash users can actually they can actually deposit their zcash in order to get real solid token in return like USDC, USDT, and the rest of them. All this will make provision for them in production when it's approved. So give me a sec. Okay. Oh, sorry. No, 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 no. So basically, um, well, this how this happen is when a Zcash user wants to like borrow against their Zcash, let me say to Zcash. So there's a contract already waiting for this. I won't say it perfect, it still need audits, but most part of it works. So the current borrow APY now needs 2% initial ratio 200, but they can increase it up to 500, and the liquidation ratio is 130. So they can actually decrease it to 130 and increase it to 500. As you can see, what they can borrow at the rate of 500% is $214. So now an address is not generated by diffuse bridge. It's more like a treasury address where the user will make a transfer of that their Zcash to from their wallet, and after they make the deposit and is detected in the wallet, the deposit is detected, then automatically a a wrapped Zcash is actually minted, known as NZEC, which is then locked in the pool. Then when it's now locked, they will be able to borrow this amount. And once they are done, they can also repay whatever they owe and get back their. Then the NSEC will be born, and they get back their. They will now withdraw and get back their Zcash. Then this for the supply that allows normal users to actually deposit, lend USDC to Zcash users. So that's all for lending. Then next we go to the staking, which is more like an easier part. So here we actually um use different XDK to actually achieve this, but it runs with near intent. And let me show you how it works. So you can see they can actually stay on Miranda Finance, on G2Pool, on Lido Finance for Ethereum, or Linear Protocol for Near, just with the Zcash. And let me show you how that works. So for Miranda now, what they have to do is state how many USDT they want to stake. So when there is a tree, um, and click on stake. Uh, oh, give me a sec. We just figured that me running dry mode on one-click API this can generate deposit address, but that has been actually fixed. So when the user specify how many Zcash they want to stake, you can see near intent using one-click API generates the where they have to set the Zcash. And when they set the Zcash, their near wallet already uses chain signature to derive a wallet on Solana, which their near um which their near wallet also controls. And when this transaction has been finalized and the SEC have been swapped to SOL, it will now be sent to this derived Solana wallet. And in that derived Solana wallet, a transaction also have been built there, which the wallet also signs in the background. And when all this confirms, you will see the amount there. Oh, this will clear very soon. You can actually cancel this pending.
when everything is done, you will see the amount you stake here. So, and you can then unstake later by clicking when all this is finalized. But that feature hasn't been added there. And when obviously when it is on stake, the Solana still stays in the derived Solana wallet that their near wallet controls. So the logic there is that at the end of everything, if they want to bridge back to ZEC, yeah, we can still make a room for that. But given I just want to show you, I should told you earlier that this is a prototype, but most part of the logic is already working already. So not everything is complete, the whole UI and everything. So that I'm just showing you. You can also do that here on Ichiru's side. All you have to do is click any amount. So I don't know why I'm stick to three. You can see it just derive that for Ethereum. The same thing with the Lido. So that's basically the logic here for staking. And now we go to market, a more complex way, more complex DeFi edition that they can actually do. And here is poly market. So what actually happened here is that using the poly market API, we're able to replicate their UI, but we can actually do better later. Or all this is basically here is that how they will trade it is they deposit their ZEC, obviously how much ZEC they are willing to spend on the poly market ecosystem. Same thing, it generates an address, and those address will now be converted. As you can see here, they have to send it to this address. And when they send it to this address, just like the staking, that the their new wallet derives a Polygon USDC account where this deposit will be sent to. So the, the deposit will now be swapped to Polygon USDC, which their new wallet uh, which the new wallet actually controls. And when they pick any market, they can actually buy yes, no, they can sell, no, they can buy yes, or they have to specify how many amounts of share they want to buy. 20. When they click no, their new wallet actually takes care of this transaction, but nothing will happen here because no deposit has been actually accomplished here. So you can see fail to submit order. So then okay, their portfolio. Yeah, they can also withdraw their given that that is already USDC. So what they have to do is depending on how many USDC that they gain or lose, they have to just put it and input their zcash address and initiate a withdrawal, and near intent handles the rest. So then for trading, which is for Hyperliquid, that their user was actually complaining about the something like Poly Market use their API to recreate their platform and give them a chance to actually trade there. So what happens here is that they can actually deposit their give me a sec this type error. Okay, that was the trading chart, a trading chart issue. But just like I told you earlier, this is a prototype. There's still a lot to be factored here. So basically, just like other things I've reviewed earlier, staking and market, this works similarly the same way. All they have to do is click deposit, manage how much, they click deposit address, and yeah, it gives them the address to deposit, and their near wallet generates. Okay, for Hyperliquid is arbitrary USDC is the entry point, so the fund will actually be converted to arbitrary USDT. Their near wallet generates derives an arbitrary USDT that it controls, and help them sign transaction in the background, build and sign transaction in the background. So basically, when they say buy long, or they can actually choose a price now. go to limit markets, choose any leverage. They can actually choose any assets here, specify how many size they want to buy. They can buy long, and that's basically it. They can, after multiple trades, they can actually withdraw back their USDT Arbitrum back to Zcash. So that's the whole logic here. And my favorite part here is another feature here that could give Zcash user more use case and more leverage. And that is the payment section. So what this payment section helps does is that Zcash users can actually receive fund from anybody, any chain that is actually, or any asset that is actually supported by near intent, and they can as well send fund to any chain or any asset that is supported by near intent. So let me show you how this works right now. So assuming a Zcash user wants to receive $200 from someone that actually uses, it doesn't matter as far as the asset is actually supported by uh, near intent. Let's say Solana USDC or Arbitrum USDC or even App token or Ethereum, anything. It doesn't matter. Okay, let me use this just for more uh testnet set. Okay, just give me what am I doing? Okay, all they have to do is input their address, input their amount, the amount of USDT that they want to receive, and click create payment link. So they can share this payment link to anybody that they actually want them to actually make payment to them. So when the person takes this payment link, obviously still on local host, so this are not yet in production. Oh, I know port issue. Definitely a port issue. Give me a sec. Let me fix that. Okay, so the position has been fixed. So when the user actually gives this link to anybody that are expecting those payments to, this is what they see when they open the link. So they have to select on any chain that they want to use to make the payment. It can be it can be Ethereum. So for the let's use Ethereum. Let's assume the person actually wants to send it in USDC. You can see this is the amount the guy is told to actually pay a year to send to this address, this Ethereum address. So basically, when the person actually sends it to this Ethereum address, um, automatically near intent handles the rest by actually helping bridging this USDC to ZEC to the guy. That's basically it, and the person can actually cancel, choose another token, maybe on base, maybe Kiato. Uh, that's it. So then apart from that, okay, you can see they have been told the amount that they are going to send in Kiato. So when they send it, the Kiato will now be bridged to the Zcash user's address. Then, apart from that, they can actually send to people on those other blockchain. So let's assume what they want to send now. They want to send equivalent to the which is about $1,000 to someone. Another chain that they have to do is pick the let's use Solana now, maybe Trump token. Yeah, they have to send this. The person will receive this equivalent amount of uh, Trump token. All they have to do is input the address of the person that they want to send it. Let me just give me a sec. Let me just think share something here. think I should have something here. So, okay. So all they have to do is put then they will now get a deposit address when where they will send their, oh, another issue. Just give me a sec to fix that. Okay, after several debugging, I found out that one click API doesn't have enough liquidity for this transaction. So let's change it to something more familiar. Uh, let's check USDC. So yeah, so let's try get a deposit address. Fetch again. Wait, let me try USDC. Uh, to fetch. No, I don't think it's. Okay, after mini debugging, that has actually been fixed. So it's actually generated an address where the Zcash user will actually send it to, and the equivalent USDT will be now be sent to this my Solana address. So I can cancel and start over. Let's try out our Trump again since it has nothing to do with liquidity. Uh, Not again. I think these are the one I have to fix after this. Okay, so Solana worked. So I think my was right to reading. So, but here is it. They can actually receive from other chains and they can actually send some other chain. So, but bottom line to all this is that there are lots of potential here. There are a whole lot of DeFi infrastructures that they can access with their Zcash token without compromising their security. All they have to do is kind of enter the chain and exit the chain normally, and you can actually link it back to them because all transactions on Zcash are mostly shielded because their deposits actually shielded by near intent and then with withdrawal, same thing. So, um, and you shouldn't actually see the potential here for only Zcash users in the sense that this year one of the biggest narrative has been privacy. A lot of people really need for most of a lot of users on public blockchain really need privacy for their transactions, and this can actually guarantee them that in the sense that it can actually potentially drive growth for Zcash usage where they actually buy Zcash possibly from here where they can actually create a receive Zec or use their normal USDT on their chain or any asset that is supported by near intent to push it to their newly created Zcash account. With that, they can actually trade on this platform. They can lend, they can stake, they can participate in pooling markets or from their near wallets and a derived address from that chain that they want to participate. And all this can actually be reverse back to the Zcash ecosystem, which is not traced. So there are a lot of potential here. And just like I said in the beginning, disclaimer, this is a prototype, not fully production ready, but the logic is there and mostly part of it actually work. There's still a whole lot that needs to be actually fixed here, which is why I am actually trying to show you the potential, but could actually be possible. And with this grant, it will help me hire a very good team to actually make this even more possible. Fix all the bugs, refactor the entire code, make sure everything works without any crash. So that's the whole entire purpose of the video, enlightening you. So I hope I'm able to convince you about all that, and thanks for watching.